What's up guys? I'm here today to make my follow-up video for the questions and bring you some answers. Now I've got all the questions from the video on my trusty notepad here, and I'm going to try and get through as many of them as possible, and it's been really good. Thank you a lot for all your questions. There's a few of them that are sort of bigger topics and ones that I think I really might like to make a bit of an extended video on, which I might do, but I think I've got everything on this list, and so we're going to go ahead and start answering them. So first off, I'm going to start with a question regarding my endorsement with Chapman Guitars. I thought I'd start off there because that's the real reason that I'm still here on YouTube. And the way I got it was I posted a video up when I bought my ML1. I bought an ML1 straight off the back. I saw an advert in Total Guitar for Anderton selling them, and then got into watching Chapper's videos. I wanted something a bit more modern because, as you may know, I quite like the classic sort of style guitars. I had Telly, Strats, Les Pauls. Wanted something a bit modern, saw the features on this, liked the way it was designed, and bought one. So then I made this video here, and someone on the Rob Chapman forum found it, and then Rob found it and offered me the endorsement through YouTube, and then from there it's been great. Another question regarding work with them, it's been really good. I've been given some great opportunities. The Marshall gig was great. It's something I have forever to write on a CV or whatever. It's a great weekend. It's really good working with them, lots of opportunities, and there's lots to come from Chapman Guitars in the coming months and year. So I hope you look forward to that. So next, a sort of similar topic question is how I got into guitar playing in the first place. Now I've been playing for 6.5 years. I started when I was 13, so in year 8 at school, or wherever that works to, wherever you go. And I got into guitar, and I got into a group of new friends, and one mate, Sam, in particular, the SG Master, hope you're watching, man. I was in the library at school one day and he was playing in there, and I thought, oh, I might like to give that a go. And Christmas that year I got my Squire Strat package, and then it just really went from there. I really got into it, really liked it. You know, I practiced hard like I do now, and it was just something I really liked, and I went from there. And we also got a question about fishing, which is awesome. I got into that through watching John Wilson's Go Fishing, if you're familiar with that, on channel 242 on Sky. Someone asked what this is on my chin. I do believe it's the early stages of a goatee. Next we got what music I'm listening to now. I have to say the music I listen to is quite different from what I like to play. These days my listening's changed a lot. I do listen to a lot of metal, to be honest. One of my favourite bands at the moment is Pirate Metal's Hailstorm. They're a brilliant band. They're probably my most listened to band at the moment. Just awesome. If you haven't checked them out, please check them out. They're just awesome. I still listen to Malmsteen, a lot of Malmsteen. Starting to listen to a bit of piano, sort of solo piano music at the moment, because as you guys might know, I've started to get into keyboard sort of stuff, so I listen to a lot of things like that. No particular artists at the moment, I'm just sort of going over some things, so that's awesome. Next, in the event of a zombie apocalypse, what would I do? In all honesty, I have no idea. Probably lock myself in a room and play guitar until the whole event blows over. Awesome. So now a really interesting question, which I really like, from my friend, I believe, Mark. Thanks very much for that. And that's, who would you rather jam with, Yngwie Malmsteen or Hailstorm? So of course you guys know two big artists that I'm really into, and I'd have to say out of both of those, probably Malmsteen. I mean, I really do owe a lot of my playing to him, really, his influence and his practice sort of thing, and that really gave me my whole technique. And really, it was about when I discovered him about 2-3 years ago, that was where I got really serious about guitar, and I really think I owe it to him. And even though I don't play that sort of style as much as I used to, I really do believe, you know, he's my hero, and it'd have to be him. But Hailstorm would be a lot of fun, and they're a wicked band. So keeping on with the Malmsteen theme, I've got a few questions about sort of Yngwie Malmsteen playing. Now I tend to work, instead of learn the solos and the songs, I did learn a few. When I first got into it, I learned Far Beyond the Sun and a couple other of his instrumentals, and that really gave me enough of sort of the staple licks in the song to really get going. And then I really learned a lot of stuff just watching and listening and picking out bits that I liked. There's some really good videos on YouTube if you type in Yngwie Malmsteen demo, and it's in 3 parts, and I think it's probably about 15 minutes in total. And it's literally just him shredding in his studio, and there's some wicked licks on there. I think it's quite an old video, around 2002, but it's really good, just working things out from there. And you gradually get sort of similar sort of things he uses. I mean, you got your harmonic minor, your diminished, the minor sweeps, and then the Phrygian dominant. And you can just hear how he links all those together, different phrases and different keys. And you can really hear it in his songs like that, and it's just getting familiar with those sort of sounds. And then of course his blues stuff as well. There's also similar keys. A lot of his songs will be in sort of similar keys and utilise different scales in the keys. Like a lot of the time he'll do a more blues song. A lot of his blues stuff is in C sharp minor, you'll notice, and then a lot of his sort of really heavy Phrygian stuff is normally either in E, A or F sharp. There's not normally anything not in that. And it's getting familiar with the way he links the passages, the way he uses the diminished, and then linking in with the corresponding scale. It's really not quite as complicated as it looks once you get into it, but it's getting into what he does and listening to where it is and how he uses it. But it's not too difficult, and I might put out a video on sort of Yngwie Malmsteen playing, because I did do that for quite a while, so thanks for that question. So keeping on with that, I got quite a few questions about picking speed, accuracy, and also sort of synchronization between your fretting and your picking hand. I did a couple videos on picking before and they were really quite successful, so I'd recommend those ones. But the key is to start slow. I mean, no one wants to start slow, I understand that, but all the big guys have done it. All the guys who you can shred a beast at one stage when they were young play slow. You need to find a technique that works for your picking hand that's sort of comfortable and efficient. You don't want something that's awkward when you play fast. You want something that's nice and comfortable for you, and that doesn't mean, you know, I put my video up on my technique and how I did that, and that works well for me. But I mean, there's guys with all sorts of picking hands out there. I mean, Mike Friedman and Eddie Van Halen. I mean, Eddie Van Halen picks between this hand, you know, barely any people do that, and that works for him. So it's finding something that works for you, and then you sort of need to start slow and build it up. For me, what really helped my picking was, before I was really into Malmsteen stuff, was Paul Gilbert stuff. I mean, his lesson stuff and the way he does his picking and all his scale runs, I think that really helped me with my technique. I mean, his technique's just solid. And I think as far as pickers go, Paul Gilbert's the boss, in my opinion, for that. And I really learnt a lot off him. He does a lot. One of the shapes I really practiced first was basically the 3-octave minor pattern shape. So it's literally the same shape on 2 strings, and I just did that for hours, you know, starting off slow. And also the other key is to have in your mind how you want it. I mean, I always knew I wanted it clean. I never liked sloppy playing. I knew how I want it, and the key is to start slow, because if you can play it slow clean, your brain will recognise that, and then as you build up the speed, your brain will know that you want it clean, and you'll gradually be able to get that memory in fingers and brain and keep it fast but clean. If you start off completely sloppy, fast, your brain thinks, oh, fair enough, he wants it to sound like that, so you'll stay like that. It's all about the clean picking and the clean technique. And the Paul Gilbert stuff I'd really recommend. You literally take one of your three note per string shapes on pairs of strings and just run through that. I didn't particularly did it with a metronome, though I do now for good practice, but I literally did that a lot, and that really helps. And then applying it to the Malmsteen stuff was quite easy, really, once you have the technique, because it's a lot. He does a lot of the 3 note per string, 2 pairs of string shapes, and then it was applying that on this single string, which is a bit tricky. But once you get a solid technique down, it's all right. But picking's a really important thing, I think, as a synchronization, and the key really is to start slow. Have a look at your favourite artists. I really recommend Paul Gilbert for picking, and start off slow. And of course your synchronization will come naturally to you if you start slow and you're getting everything clean. Because if you've got bad synchronization, that's what's going to cause a bad and sloppy technique. So start off slow, pick a particular lick, or I like the Paul Gilbert sort of 2-octave run sort of things, and see how you get on with that. So next we've got a question about fretboards. As you may know, I play an Yngwie Malmsteen Strat, and I have a custom ML1 that I have scalloped. So do I prefer a normal fretboard or a scalloped? And I've got to say, I do run between the two quite regularly, to be honest. I mean, at the moment, my main workhorse guitars, I would probably say, are the ML2 and my Fender Telecaster, so I'm probably more on a standard fretboard at the moment, but I'd probably say that scallops are just as comfortable for me, and I really like the benefits of both and don't really find any drawbacks of both. So guitar maintenance, I have to say I do quite little. I'll make sure all my stuff's on hangers, and I don't particularly like putting it in cases for moisture reasons, as it gets in and knackers the wiring, but I keep them clean. I clean the rosewood and ebony boards with lemon oil, and then clean the fretboards on the maple guitars just with very slightly lukewarm water and a rag. Really, you know, I don't really string as often as I should, but that's all I do. If I need a bit of wiring or setup done, I tend to take it here to Heron Music in Bristol. Normally, my Telecaster needs doing at the moment, and it's a bit of an awkward job to do the truss on it, so I might take that in. But that's really it, really. Make sure it's all on hangers and just take good care of them. So next I had one, or two questions that I thought I'd put together is, how would I change my musical approach to the guitar? And another one saying, you know, would it be better if I didn't play as many notes often? And I've got to say, I think since sort of September, October time, you know, I think if not before then, my style and approach to guitar has changed a lot. I mean, I used to be full on Malmsteen shred all the time, I've got to be honest, you know, that was my thing. But I mean, I play a lot of blues, I love country, really into me country stuff. I love blues, I love fusion, I love jazz fusion, I'm into all that now. And you know, I think even if you look back at my previous videos, I think there's definitely a change from full on shred to really, you know, a lot of, you know, more soulful playing, in my opinion. I still think there's a way to go and I've got improvements, but you know, that's sort of my focus now, is just a bit of everything, but not as much shred, to be honest. But you know, everybody loves shred. Shred! Another one about fretting hand, getting your ring finger and pinky to move separately. Now, I've never had a problem with this one, but I'm not sure, maybe whoever asked the question, if you've been doing a lot of playing, missing out the pinky, so instead of going to a 1, 2, 3, 4 sort of box sort of thing, sort of using these fingers a lot more to play everything. That might be a problem if you play I mean, I always made a point of playing regularly and always using the pinky. I mean, even Malmsteen doesn't, but I always like to have all the fingers being used, and if it's easier to play with one, then I'll do that. So maybe if you've been playing like that for a while, that could be the problem. But I would recommend just running through some of the Paul Gilbert sort of 3-octave shapes in all the different patterns, and then it should come to you really. I mean, I've never had a problem with that, but then I set out literally from the start to use all 4 fingers regularly on the fretboard, and that's worked out for me. Next, I've got a few questions about the university that I go to, which is the Bristol Institute of Modern Music, or BIM. There's one in Brighton. Now, I've been going there since September, and it's fantastic. It really is. I've learnt a lot, and I think my playing's improved a lot. I think practicing. I mean, I used to play a lot, but whether I used to practice a lot, I think was a different sort of ball game. I mean, my practice routine is a lot better. I've got into loads of different styles, like a lot of different styles of music. Met some great people, and just learning a lot about live performance bands and all that. The only drawback I'd say that I'm feeling at the moment, though, I think I've sort of bought myself, is that I haven't managed to get into a solid band. I mean, I had one for quite a bit in my secondary school. There's nothing serious, but I haven't found a banjo there. But I live in about 40 minutes away, and then I commute. So I think if I lived in Bristol, I'd probably have a few more contacts, which I'm doing next term. So I think a few projects are starting to arise for me. But that would be the only thing. But apart from that, it's really good. I mean, they're top quality tutors. You know, they've all been out and doing awesome things, and they're just top quality, and they've got all the knowledge there to give you. It's a really good course. I'd really recommend it. I'm on the foundation degree, but there's also a certificate higher education, which is really good as well. And it's just being taught by top quality guys. But playing wise, I've really improved. My practicing is a lot better. My approach to different styles on guitar is a lot better, and I just feel I've improved a lot. So really good, would recommend it to anybody. Really good course. Also about BIM, Guthrie Govan does come there. He's not a complete regular, he's been there once, but he does tend to go in a lot. He originally was a tutor there, but obviously has achieved rock stardom and does a lot of clinics everywhere, but he does come in to do an hour-and-a-half masterclass. They have masterclasses regularly there with all different awesome artists, and Guthrie is one of them, and he's fairly regular. He's come in first term, he didn't come in last term, I'm not sure about this term, but he does come in a bit, but he's not a tutor there. But his masterclasses are awesome, really good, but not a regular guy. So next is theory, so I thought I'd put it in now. Related to BIM, I've learnt a lot more theory now, and I have to say, I think it helps you no end. I mean, there are guys who say they can play completely by sound and ear and completely by feel, and I think that's fair enough. But personally, I think theory can only further that. And I just like, you know, fair enough, you can whip out an awesome improvised solo, you know, and that, but I personally think knowing what you're doing and be able to describe it afterwards and say, you know, I'm using a whatever, an E minor 7 arpeggio there into some whatever scale, I personally think knowing what you're doing is a lot better, and it can only quicken your sort of playing when you're in an improvisation situation like a session. If they say, right, you've got 4 chord progression, I want a solo over that, you know, if you know your theory, you're going to be, if you know over the fretboard, you've got, you know, all your arpeggio shapes, all your scale shapes just ready there waiting, and then improvisation, it should be all there, it should be second nature. I think, you know, your modal theory, knowing some scale shapes, like the main, like harmonic minor, I mean there's just thousands of scales, some crazy scales, you know, I don't necessarily think every one is useful, but your main modes, major minor modes, harmonic minor stuff, I think all that sort of thing is very relevant, and you'll need to know it. It just helps you know end, and just knowing what you're doing is just better, I personally think. So I recommend theory, and it's really helped my playing since I've started my music course in September. So lastly, we've got the gear question, and before that I just wanted to answer one question that I've had so many times, more than any other question I've got on YouTube, and it's how I achieve the tone on the Yngwie Malmsteen videos that I do. Now, to be able to get the tone, like, it's really easy. Like, I did a video of it that you can see here, and I'll tell you what I used first. I basically used a standard Yngwie Malmsteen Strat. It's completely stock, obviously comes with the DiMarzio HS3s. It was set up standard, the action wasn't high, the action wasn't low, sort of medium. Screw the middle pickup down because I don't like it, and pickups medium height. And I ran that into my JCM 2000 DSL using either the lead 1 or lead 2, whatever took your fancy really. All the settings can be found on that video again. And I just ran that on an overdrive channel, so just with the Strat and the Marshall, it was just breaking up crunch. Now I boost that to taste with the Dodd YJM 308 pedal, and whether I was going for some of those more modern tones or some old school tones, just level and gain to taste. It really is quite easy, and I think where a lot of people go wrong with the Yngwie Malmsteen tone is they listen to it and think, oh, metal, gain. And really, in his sort of 80s classic stuff, his tone is nothing more than a bluesy sort of crunch really. It's more letting the technique shine through, you know, the way you play really is the sound. Like, it almost sounds like the guitar unplugged but amplified, if you know what I mean. The pick and attack, you know, you've got a very hard pick and attack, and that comes through really well. He picks almost everything, and then of course the only bit about his playing which isn't picked really hard are the sweeps, which sound really liquid because he can hit the notes really well using such a crunchy tone, and really it's about the actual playing shining through with quite a really basic tone. So next we got that inevitable question about gear. I did have an old gear video up of some stuff I had, so I'll just quickly show you what I have now. On the subject of mods that I had a question on as well, there's one Strat in that old video, a natural one, which I modded to be a Malmsteen Strat, and then got a Malmsteen Strat and sold it, and that is my biggest gear regret, was selling that guitar, because that Strat was really nice. But I think everybody who's been playing a while and has owned a lot of guitars has at least one guitar like that, and that Strat was mine. So I'll just run through what gear I got. Obviously with Chapman guitars, so I've got my custom ML1 and my stock, completely stock ML2. I've also got my two old school bad boys, my Gibson Les Paul Studio, which is just awesome. Don't let anybody tell you that they're not real Gibsons, that is rubbish. These are awesome. And then my Mexican Fender Baja Telecaster, which is equally as awesome. Next we got this most awesome Strat ever. This is my Yngwie Malmsteen Signature Stratocaster, complete with Yngwie Malmsteen Signature Strat. Yes! And this is an absolute badass of a guitar. So next we got my two acoustics. I've got a Ibanez single cut nylon Spanish guitar, which is awesome, and a Applause Ovation steel strum, which is also awesome for the money. Then I've got for bass, I've got a 5-string Squier vintage modified jazz bass, which is awesome. Again, not an expensive instrument, but really, really good. And then for the tars, I finally have my Roland AX1 keytar, which is the most badass instrument ever created. And then I run all of those either through my JCM 2000, or for practice I've got a little 1-watt Blackstar, and that goes into my custom Zilla 2x12 with vintage 30 speakers. And then my pedal board is a cheapy power supply with a Boss DD7 delay, Surge overdrive pedal, a Zach Wild wah pedal, and then a chromatic tuner. And then for my guitar, I run that into a Korg X5DR rack unit. So that's all the gear. Apart from the little bits, I use Demarkly or Elixir strings, and then at the moment I'm quite partial to these little orange Dunlops. And that's it on the gear front, nothing really too fancy, but does the job and it's awesome. So there was also one final question that needed answering, and that was my thoughts on Marmite. Now my friend, these are my thoughts on Marmite. I'm going to have some of this bitchin' stuff on my toast in a minute, and it's awesome. Thanks for watching this very long video. I do apologise for that, but I wanted to try and cover as much stuff as thoroughly as I can. And thanks for all your questions, it's been really good. I think I've got a few more ideas from this for a few new videos, so look out for those. Please subscribe. I work hard to make these videos for you, and I hope you enjoy them. Thanks to everyone who's watched, commented, subscribed before, and watched my latest videos. And you take it easy, guys. I'll see you soon, and I'm going to clear up this room full of guitars.